Good day. I'm ready here. It's Sunday night to read chapter 6 of that November weekend. Wednesday afternoon happened to find Kelly exhausted. She missed Mark and had not got her Christmas shopping done, and they were leaving to go to her parents' house tomorrow morning. Her mind was so overworked from studying and working at the computer that she almost walked out into the street in front of a car. She would have been hit if a couple of girls had not pulled her back. Their screams woke Kelly up, and she was quite shaken by what had almost happened. The three young women stood at the curb for a moment, talking to ensure that Kelly was in her right state of mind and was not attempting suicide. They offered to take a bus with her and even offered to pay her fare, but she assured the girls that she would be more careful now and thanked them very much. Kelly thought of having Mark pick her up, but she changed her mind in case it would worry him. He wouldn't let her out of his sight if he knew what had just happened. She decided to stop at the cafe to get a bite to eat and rest. She had forgot to eat breakfast being so busy and thought she might feel better and went to sit down for 20 minutes and eat. There was a little sandwich bar in the cafe, and she headed right for it since she realized she had not ate since 6 p.m. last night. She ordered a nice chicken wrap and fruit cup. A nice glass of orange juice would pump up her blood sugar. She bought an herbal tea to drink on the way to the university. She entered the campus, and it was relatively quiet, being the end of the semester. She gladly and with no hesitation handed in her assignment, confident that it would be perfect. She received her course outline and supply list 3 weeks earlier, so she picked up her books and went to town to buy the supplies that she needed. On the way out of school, she met one of her fellow students, Patricia Lawrence, and stopped to chat with her. Patricia looked quite ill and pale. Kelly thought it was possible that she had the flu. As she talked on with Patricia, she learned that a recent event found Patricia devastated and unable to hand in a finished assignment. Her whole year's work would be void. Patricia, let's go to the campus diner, and I'll get you something to eat. And don't give me an excuse why you shouldn't. All right. Okay, Kelly, I am hungry. Patricia agreed. They didn't have far to walk to the diner, and Kelly was horrified at what Patricia had to tell her of the past few days. Patricia usually wore makeup and had her short blonde hair styled nicely. She was wearing modest clothes provided by St. Vincent de Paul. They sat at a booth and ordered some chili and garlic bread. Patricia took time to explain. You will never be able to wrap your head around what I'm going to tell you. Go on, Kelly urged. Do you know my dorm mates, Linda Lee and Bonnie Schuster? I'm not sure. I think I know Linda Lee. She's in teaching. Yeah, she's a Korean girl. Well, those two have been busy making money using telephone scams. Somehow they scammed some little elderly lady into believing that they were family members and needed her to wire them money to get them out of some sort of trouble. No way! Linda is stable, at least I always thought she was. Well, it's all an act, apparently. I came home feeling sick, and the police came into the dorm room and busted them and arrested me too since I was there. Oh, come on, Patricia. They can't arrest you because you were in the room with them. As sure as I'm sitting here, I was arrested. I just got out of jail this morning. Patricia cried and rubbed her eyes under the stress and ran her hands through her uncombed hair. Patricia, I'm really sorry. Try to calm down. It's okay. When did this happen? It happened on Sunday. An investigation of the camera footage at Western Union showed Bonnie and Linda picking up $2,100 last Friday morning. That evidence is all that saves me, and they did testify that I was not involved. Unfortunately, the justice system says I have to go to court to trial to sort this out unless my lawyer can get me exonerated. Sweetheart, you're shaking like a leaf. Please try to calm down and change the subject. Try to eat some more. It will make you feel better. Okay. Patricia cradled her face in her hands and tried to breathe deeply and quit crying so she could continue talking. She ate some more chili and continued shaking, but smiled at Kelly and claimed that it was better chili than she could ever make herself. It is good, isn't it? I've never ate the chili here before. Patricia was very appreciative for seeing a friendly face, the first in 4 days. It made the chili that much more enjoyable, too. She dipped the garlic bread into a bowl and sopped up the remaining bit of chili that was left. The girls just sat quietly for a moment and let the warmth of the chili please their souls. Okay, so I was in court this morning for the bail hearing, and my name finally came up. I was released on my own recognizance on $1,000 unpaid unless I break the law. On the day of my arrest, I was told that I would be released because I have no criminal record. No such luck. There was no authority to release me, so I had to wait until this morning for a bail hearing. So were you held in a holding cell or? Oh no, I was put right in the detention center on the range, as they call it. I had never been so petrified, but thankfully the inmates had just been brought in from drug raids and were not really aggressive, just a little crazy is all. I'm so horrified for you. Were Linda and Bonnie there with you? That was one of the hardest parts of being in jail, trying not to argue with the likes of those two. I wouldn't speak to them, and they pretty much stuck to themselves and away from me. I can't get to my dorm room because it is now a crime scene. The police have taken my laptop along with everything else, cell phone and the like. Luckily for me, I left my knapsack in a locker here, and I had backup CDs in it for my assignment. I have to get it printed out, but I have no money or I could do it in the library. I have no supplies. Everything is in my room. I have to have it handed in by 5 p.m. It's 4 p.m., Kelly alerted her. Oh, no. My whole year is void then. Are you sure? Great. By the way, you're smarter than I am. I only finished mine this morning. I have an idea. Let's hurry over to the library and I'll call my boyfriend to bring some money over so you can get your folder together and hand it in. We have an hour. I don't know how to thank you, Kelly. Patricia shook her head and cried. Come on, no time for crying, Kelly encouraged her with kindness. I feel so awful. I was taken in and they wouldn't even let me get a coat. Someone grabbed some boots that weren't even mine and carted us off. The boots didn't fit and I had to walk around everywhere they took me in sock feet. When I left the court, some people were waiting for me from the Goodwill with some winter clothes for me. That's why I'm wearing this linty woolen coat and plastic boots. Patricia washed her face and Kelly lent her a comb and got her a toothbrush, then called Mark. Mark is on his way. He'll meet us at the library as soon as he can. In the meantime, you can get your pages printed and handed in. I'll wait for him while you are gone to pay for them. When will you be able to get back to your apartment? I don't think I'll be able to, not really sure. It's at the end of the month. I have no money left and my parents are in England. They don't know yet what's happened. Mark and I will look after you and you will come to my parents' house with us this morning. I insist. You've worked too hard to be pushed around like you have been these last few days and you need help now. We are going Christmas shopping later and we'll get you some clothes. I don't even know Mark. Listen. Is your assignment completed? Yes, I have it copied on the disk and it's in my locker. Where can I get it? Where I can get it. Okay, you don't need to know him. He's my boyfriend and he's a wonderful man. He will always be devastated when I tell him. He will be devastated when I tell him what happened to you. Now we're going to help you. It will be fine. You will get your work handed in and you will have a relaxing Christmas with us and a promising new year. Kelly and Patricia arrived at the library and there were available computers. Most students had already left for their holidays, which enabled them to get the work printed. I guess you know what you are doing now. Excuse me while I call my mom to tell her to expect another guest. I'll be at one of the cubicles when you need me. Sure, I'll be busy here for a few minutes. You do what you need to do. Kelly called Mark to tell him where she was sitting, and he assured her that he would be there in a couple of minutes. She phoned her mom afterwards to tell her what had happened to a fellow student, the shocking and traumatic situation that nearly cost Patricia a whole year of hard work for her nursing degree. Kelly's mom said that she was to host one of the best Christmases ever. There would be the whole family as well as others that they were reaching out to in charity. To Mary, made the season truly meaningful. Kelly's parents would need to set up an additional table, but there was ample room for it in their spacious dining room. Kelly had not finished talking to her mom when Mark arrived. Patricia had just finished at the computer, and so Mark introduced himself to her while Kelly continued to speak to her mother. He paid for the printouts and told Patricia that they would wait for her to return to the library. Kelly wanted her mom to say hello to Mark, and she handed him the phone. They got acquainted over the phone, and Mark concluded that she and Kelly were nothing alike. Although Mary was very nice to talk to, she was blunt, a bit loud and excitable, in a very nice way. Kelly is not shy by any means. She is a combination of sweetness, intelligence, and confidence. Kelly's mom rather surprised him, actually blew him off the seat with her humorous, controlling type of personality. By the way your mother sounded on the phone, she has a lot going on there. I am a little worried about my mom. She isn't used to a lot of excitement. Don't worry, I know Mom's very excitable, but believe me, she and Dad know her condition very well, and that's why they have a nice guest room all ready for you and your mom. It's a very large home, and it will be peaceful in the guest wing. My Aunt Barbara will be a great help to your mom. Barbara will eat there with her if she needs to. Okay, Kelly, I trust you, and I suppose she will be fine. The fact that your mother is a director of a mental health clinic, she would surely know how to care for someone with Mom's condition. My dad is also abrupt, but he cares very much for you both and the tragedy in your lives and my mom's relationship with you and Elizabeth. Be rest assured, Mark, you will both feel welcome and comfortable. Will there be any chance of the two of us spending any alone time there? I mean, with such a crowd? At some point, I'm sure we will have some alone time. It will be a busy house, I realize, busier than you are used to, but don't worry about anything. We're going to have some good times, and Dad will make a point of talking to you and getting to know you and Elizabeth. Do your parents question you about the amount of time taken from your school and work schedule spent with Mom and I? My time spent with you hasn't been a strain on anything. They know that I am a hard worker and I don't give them anything to worry about. They taught my sisters and me many good characteristics, so it's our job to make good choices. I would say that so far they have done very well with their family by what I see in you and hear about your sisters, Mark concluded, worrying about the trip to Kelly's home. Okay, Mark, so no more worries? The store will be open till midnight tonight, so we need to go shopping after we leave here. Gosh, I never should have waited to the last minute to shop, but there is never any time in my schedule. If I'm not spending time with you, list of I have made a list though, and will promise to stick to shopping in the stores that I promise to stick to shopping in the stores that have what I want. Where is Patricia going to go after she's done here? I'm going to take her back to my place. My landlord may have an extra cot she can use. I wonder how she is doing. I went by the stationery store on the way here for a minute and bought her some supplies to put the papers together with. I hope the stuff was suitable, Mark wondered. She probably was very grateful. She knows what she's doing and she didn't comment, so I'm sure what you bought for her was used. Patricia returned and the color was back in her face. Hi, Patricia. How are things going for you? There were 109 pages in the entire assignment. It must have cost a fortune for you, and I'll pay you back when I get in touch with my parents. and have money wired to me. You are a lifesaver, both of you, and I don't know how to thank you. We are glad to help you. The situation must be some kind of nightmare for you. I can't believe what those girls did. The very nerve, scamming money from an elderly woman is just beyond belief for us, Mark said. I have a long fight ahead of me now in clearing my name. You have spoken to a lawyer by now, I presume, Mark asked. Yes, I was fortunate to find a lawyer who specializes in fraud. It was difficult, though. Most lawyers were already on holidays. I frantically dialed 15 numbers on the police list and no one was available. I was worried that I would have to stay in jail until the new year. Finally, I dialed a number and a lawyer answered, who happened to be Jewish and was, of course, free to represent me, hard-working and reliable. Patricia specified. Both Kelly and Mark sympathized with her and offered her to stay at Kelly's apartment for as long as she needed to. They also offered to be character witnesses in court for her before they realized that that was only applicable for someone to be handed a lighter sentence. It was good intentions and a show of support to their friends. The three of them left the library together to take Patricia to Kelly's apartment. She was so relieved to have her work taken care of and to know she had a place to stay for the night that she could collapse in a chair in the hall. Oh, excuse me. The three of them left the library together to take Patricia to Kelly's apartment. She was so relieved to have her work taken care of and to know she had a place to stay for the night that she collapsed in a chair in the hall outside the library and cried. She cried because her stress finally took its toll on her. Never has she needed anyone's support and help like she did now. The emotion she was feeling over the events that brought her to this level of stress was hitting her like a brick wall. It was all very different for her, a mess, and she certainly did not deserve. Mark didn't know what to say or to do, so he hoped Kelly could help Patricia in any way she could, and he just sat quietly and waited. The two women sat together and talked until Patricia was able to regain her composure so that she could think about what she was going to do next. Since the hallway was not the most private and comfortable place to have a meltdown, Mark took her back to Kelly's apartment where she could relax, have a shower, and rest while he and Kelly shopped. Mark brought her a long-distance phone card so that she could phone her parents who were in England to talk. They made sure that Patricia was comfortable and ensured that she was able to reach her parents by the phone. They told Patricia to just be comfortable and that they were going Christmas shopping. She would have some privacy for the next few hours. They left and went to the mall, and after an hour, Kelly called home to check on Patricia, but the line was busy, so she knew that her friend was having a good conversation with her parents. Kelly bought gifts for him and Elizabeth, and he bought gifts for her entire family. It had been days since they had time spent with each other and enjoyed their shopping spree. Kelly promised Patricia that she would shop for a few things for her since she had none of her clothes. Mark and Kelly had split up so that Mark could take some of the parcels to the car, and Kelly called home again after 3 hours to find the phone still busy. She thought about the phone card, and the possibility of the phone card lasting that long was unbelievable. She decided to start walking to the exit when she met Mark walking back into the mall, still carrying the parcels, with a face red with anger. She had not known him ever to be angry. "Mark, what's happened?" "We're never going to get away. My car has been practically crushed in the parking lot by a snowplow. The driver at least stayed there and phoned the police to report the accident. I'll have to leave the stuff with you until I can deal with this mess and get a rental car. Try to put it in a locker and sit somewhere in here to wait." "Oh, Mark, okay. Just take a deep breath." "Oh, actually, I don't know what to say." "Don't worry about me." Oh, do you mind waiting here for a while? You should probably get a couple of lockers to put this stuff into so you don't have to carry it around with you. You are stuck here for the next hour or so. It'll be all right. I'll be fine. You go on and do what you have to do, Kelly insisted. While she was looking for a locker, her cell phone rang. It was Patricia calling. Hi, are you okay? Patricia was fine and felt much better because she had been able to talk to her parents. They grieved that they had left Patricia behind, but her grandmother, who lives in England, wasn't well. Patricia could not leave at this time because the matter was in court. Her parents were to be gone for 2 months and were relieved that Kelly and Mark were there for her, and they would send money for her to live on, to pay Mark back for helping, and to get assignment printed up. Patricia asked Kelly to buy her a change of clothes since money was going to be sent to her account. She would then have a shower and try to get some much needed rest. Mark was busy attending to his accident, and Kelly knew that Old Navy had 2-for-1 sale, so she shopped there for her friend. She got everything Patricia needed and was happy with her great buys, and was also beginning to get weary over the day's events. Kelly sat down and had a nice slice of pizza and a salad and pop. It was now 8:30, and she didn't know what else to do except wait there, wait right there for Mark to come back into the mall to get her. She sat there a good long time in the food court, about an hour and a half, because it was 5 after 10 when Mark called her, wanting to locate her. The car was towed away. The insurance company called and arrangements made for a rental car to be brought to them. Mark found her, and she had some pizza and a drink waiting for him, which he very much appreciated at that point. It had been a long evening. Kelly gave him an update on Patricia, and he told her the situation surrounding the accident. There were 4 children running through the mall parking lot and ran in front of a snowplow. He swerved to miss them and hit 3 vehicles, including Mark's, which took the worst beating. The driver was bumped up but is basically okay, had gone to the hospital for x-rays and stitches in his leg. The parents of the kids were called and dealt with by the police. The driver is not charged, but it's up to the insurance companies to work out the damage. Mark was given a Toyota Tercel to drive and was grateful to have a vehicle to go away in. They had gifts to wrap, and so did that at Mark's house, so they wouldn't disturb Patricia because it was past 1 a.m. When Mark brought Kelly home, they had not been alone at Mark's very often, but they wanted to let Patricia rest since she did not sleep well in the jail for the 3 days she had spent there. They wrapped the gifts, had popcorn and hot chocolate, and packed everything into the trunk of the car for the morning trip. Before Mark brought her home, they sat together at the fireplace that Mark had just fixed a fire in. Kelly brought some more hot cocoa garnished with a candy cane. The two, very much in love with each other, sat on the floor in front of the fire, and Kelly suggested having a nice rug with throw pillows there for the next winter evening there. Mark agreed and was content to have time alone with Kelly in a romantic way. It was a rare occasion. All he needed in his heart was to watch the soft flicker of the flames glow against Kelly's porcelain skin. Kelly gave Mark a brush from her purse and sat in front of him so that he could brush her long black hair as she relaxed and hummed Silent Night. It was now Christmas Eve, and the young couple sat quietly and gazed both into the fire and into each other's eyes. They whispered many plans for future romantic evenings there, and this would be the start of a tradition. That's wrapping gifts, then relaxing by the fireplace exactly like they were doing on their first Christmas Eve. It was time to get Kelly home, and before they left, he got some thick blankets to put on the floor for Kelly to sleep on so they didn't have to wake Patricia to find a cot. They arrived at the apartment at 3:15. It was quiet, and all the lights but the Christmas lights were off, and Patricia probably had not budged an inch all evening. Oh, Mark, the poor thing. She would probably sleep right through the weekend if we left her alone. I'm so glad I ran into her today and was able to help her. I think she'll be okay. The two who were actually involved confessed that she was not, so her matter may not even go to court and she will be released from any involvement in the scam. I do hope so. It's just appalling. And right in the Christmas season. It's situations like these that I refuse to stay in the dorm rooms. I work to keep an apartment. It's hard, but it's the way it is. I'm glad for you, Kelly. I better get home now and I'll pick Mom up at 11 in the morning, then come to pick you up. Okay, Mark. It has been quite a day. The two hugged each other before Mark left Kelly, made a comfy bed on the floor, and fell right off to sleep after setting the alarm clock radio for 9 a.m. Mark went home, had a relaxing shower, and set his clock for 9 a.m., and he too fell fast asleep. So there's chapter 6, a little bit long, but it's getting busy, the story is. And we're starting to see the charitable spirit in Kelly and how she is beginning to help at least one of the friends so far from college. So you're not going to believe what happens with the next girl that she helps. Um, Gets even better. So thank you for viewing, and I'll see you next time for chapter 7. Good night.